Did you send the agenda out?
I did.
Okay, I thought you did because I thought I saw something. I'm getting it together and I'll send it. So I'll look for it.
I'm afraid if I try to do anything with the
Nope,
screen,
don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
you know how this goes here. It's like, I don't touch it. Hi, Sarah.
Hey there,
How are ya?
I'm doing good.
Staying
Now that
warm?
the snow is all gone.
Yeah, yeah. I know. And next week's when it's supposed to be fairly warm. And then of course it's gonna hit at some point here, but maybe it'll hit late and melt early. I don't know.
Well, I just like it to come when I expect it to come, somewhere around Christmas time. Without asking. No, I'm funny that way.
Well, yeah, it's just would be nice to have it for Christmas, that's for sure. Traveling in it is something I do not enjoy at all. Here comes Helen. You hear some noises. My dog makes some funny noises. It's not me, it's her. It's not me. Got a household of animals. Hi, Helen.
Good morning. And sure, it's not you. It was my dog. The dog ate my homework.
No, I just heard her snort. Uh, she's a dachshund Yorkie. So, she does have a bit of a nose, but she does snort.
When I was a kid, our dog used to sleep in the entryway right next to the kitchen there, and he would dream. And we'd be sitting having supper or something at the table, and all of us are at the table, and here's the dog having dreams, barking and running and
Yeah, running. I know Ava sleeps with me, and she's always twitching and snoring, and yeah, she sleeps so well. I sure wish I did.
ain't that the truth?
Well, as we age, I was up. Michelle and well, I'll get into it in a minute, but something did keep me up last night for a while. But it is a little bit after 9, so I do want to keep in mind that, let me see, I do have a chat here. Um, uh, oh, okay. Michelle's coming in 5 minutes. Michelle Lichtig. Okay, we have Michelle L, and then we have Michelle Thomas, who works with me on at the ECRTCC. So Michelle Thomas will not be with us today, which is why I turned the recording on early, because she's not here to tell me to. So she's at a procurement meeting, and that MnDOT has to kind of help us understand better how to spend the money that they've already allocated to us. Not how to spend it, but how to ask for it. It's just bizarre. But anyway, it is what it is. And it's also for service providers. And that's why I was kind of surprised to have any service providers, Helen, on the phone, on the call with us today. But uh, anyway, I'm sure it'll be recorded or whatever. So I also am expecting someone named N. Kelly Anderson from Attaboy's Taxi, along with Nick Winings, who is in our ILT Academy that Michelle Thomas and I are taking. And he's a taxi driver down in Mankato, and he's a real doer. I mean, he is just up and at 'em, kind of let's get this spread all around to the whole state kind of idea. And so with working with him, he's got some ideas about possibly coming into our region and getting some drivers to help with first and last mile issues. But I really wanted to introduce him to Kelly, but Kelly's not on yet either. So hopefully they will come. So I think at this point, we all know one another. So I'm not going to do introductions. There's only 5 of us, and I'd like to wait longer, but I don't want to hold us all up. Um, So I won't do the introductions, but if you wouldn't mind, just down in the chat, just put your name, who you are affiliated with, and maybe your email address in case anybody wants to reach out to you. It's an easy way to do it. And that way I can save the chat too and send it out afterwards if anybody wants it. All right. First of all, does anybody have anything that you'd like to ask right now? Any questions before we get started? Sorry, dog.
Karen, I don't have a question, but I guess I have a comment and something, but I don't know if you want me to talk about it now or later. I was at the Chisago County MAP meeting yesterday, which is their community health needs plan.
Okay.
And
Go
so
ahead.
if you want me to talk about that at another time or later in the agenda, I can do that. So it's not really a question. It's just information, I guess.
Awesome. Why don't I kind of go through my upper part with the ECRTCC updates? I'm going to run quick and close this door because she's being loud. Sure, she'll be scratching at it in a few minutes when she realizes that there's nothing out there. Okay. I'm just going to go through this stuff just because I want you to know what the RTCC has been doing. We have been, Michelle and I have been very, very busy. We're doing this Moving Greater Minnesota Forward, and you all can see my screen, correct? Okay, with my with the agenda on it. Okay, so on there you'll have these links, and you can look at the project, or they call it a cohort, at any time to learn more about it. And Elliot was at the meeting last week, or last meeting, and so you did learn a bit about it from him. So with that Moving Greater Minnesota Forward, we have been placed into something called the ILT Academy. And it's I like that is what ILT means. And it's basically for entrepreneurs who are starting businesses and how to begin the process of starting a business. How to do your 30-second pitch, how to really get down to the nuts and bolts of what you are doing, who your customers are, who your users are, how you're going to solve the problem, and all of that. So I'd love to be able to share my other screen here. So I'm going to pull up my mural board, and I'm going to see if I can do this. So I'm going to change my screen, and I want to just show you what it is. Here, let me see if I can get this to work. Okay, this is, I don't know how many of you have done murals, but this is our mural board from my mural board from this doing this ILT for now going on it'll be 9 weeks. We all have personal mural boards, and then there's a community mural board, and it has a lot of stuff on it that we can grab, but during our meetings we use, oops, I'm supposed to lock those things down. We can use we use this during the meetings, and then we cut and paste things and put them into our own mural boards. But it's been, now where's mine? Okay, anyway, so it's been really enlightening and very helpful. And what we're doing here is we're working on the destination or transit stations. And we're getting into why and how and what and everything. And so we've come up with our 30-second pitch, which is this part in green here. Michelle and I have come up with this. I don't know, can you see that? Can you nod for me, Natalie. Okay, good. So and I just do it for you quickly. I kind of want to just tell you what it is. It's as healthy living is something we strive for. Public transportation is imperative for many to thrive. To achieve this, often transit riders need to travel further than their public transit system offers. Destination or transfer stations offer a rider the ability to transfer to a subsequent transit service, allowing them to reach an extended destination. Unlike current transportation systems that do not meet up, these destination or transfer stations provide a place for services to connect with each other to drop off and pick up riders, making it an economical way to travel. I know I added the or in there, and I'm making it important that we add the or in there because it can be a destination or it can be a transfer station. So anyway, that's what we've come up with as far as our 30-second pitch, but there's a whole lot more stuff to do besides that. And we've got to do a slide deck. And I mean, it's really something. So we've been working hard on this. And so we've also learned all about Slack, which is another format of communication. Gather, which is a place we go to have our meetings, and we can get together in different rooms and meet with each other. And we have these little avatars. And I mean, it sounds silly, but it's really useful. It's been really useful. And then we've also learned, like I said, Mural. And then all of our homework is in a location called Canvas. And so we go there to find out what we need to do. And there's lots of videos and things we have to watch. And we meet for 4 hours every Wednesday for 10 weeks. And then we have tons of homework. So, I mean, I have tomorrow off, but I really don't. So I'll be working on this because we have a presentation we have to make on Monday for one of the founders or feedbackers or something on Monday off time of the meeting. So anyway, I just wanted to give you a heads up because this then will lead us into working more strongly with Helen and Rhonda and all of those service providers, Brandon, to figure out how we're going to do this and where. And at this point, what we're thinking of is putting these transfer stations into a location that's already existing, such as Colborne's in Isanti. And that way, Arrowhead is already going to that Colborne's, and they would just make it a stop. If somebody has scheduled a transfer there, it has to be scheduled. It can't just be, just a regular stop. It's got to be scheduled. So a person needs to schedule your drop off and then your pickup with your other transit system. It's not going to be easy to begin with, and we're finding that that's going to be something that we're really going to have to work with people on. That's just another thing that's come out of this is that, yeah, there's going to be some processes we have to work through. But so we're also working with Anoka County about transit link coming up into Isanti County. And that's a possibility if Arrowhead will allow that. And if Transit Link Met Council allows them to come up into Isanti County, sounds like we've got a good chance of that. But I don't know if Arrowhead's gonna like it. So it's something, yeah, we're working on. So I'm gonna go back to, does anybody have any questions about anything at this point? I'm going to stop sharing this screen and go back to my other screen. There we go. Okay. Back to the agenda. So after we get done with this ILT Academy, we will be ready to move into asking for or applying for grants. or funding, because we will have our pitch. We will know exactly who we're needing to pitch to and how to pitch to them, and we will know our issues inside and out. We will need to pitch to the service providers, of course, because we need to make our case in order for them, Helen, you're here, to understand, you know, what it is we want to do and how we want to make it possible, and not really being a burden to you. So in any case, there, like I said, there's funding available. And then there's one other thing. Okay, well, that funding right now is the Thriving Communities Initiative, and that's being applied for by MnDOT. And MnDOT then would like to be able to distribute the funds to entities, and all of the folks that are in the ILT Academy right now are being offered this funding. And because we're rural Minnesota, it has to be for those folks that are in need of it. And there's a word for it. I'm trying to think of what it is. It's oh shoot, hang on, I got it written here somewhere. It's those folks with a unique situation. Hang on, I have it, and I was, oh, well, as far as economics and such, our region is set for this kind of a thriving thriving communities initiative. I had it here this, but anyway, because of, you know, the low income and different situations like that, we are.
So rural distressed area. Okay. Michelle just put in their rural distressed area in chat.
Oh, I didn't know she was here. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
I found it. Yeah, that's right. Thank you. Underserved communities. Yeah. So it'll help us with some planning and technical support. And the other thing that is a possibility that we might be able to start a project with is a transit consultation through MnDOT. And the service providers right now are being offered help with help in consultation with their service plans. And we are trying to also become a part of that. Not well, we would be working with the service providers, but we would be not more of an overarching, but we can see from the outside looking in rather than being a service provider who's in the trees, you know? So I think that we might have a different insight into maybe what's needed overall and as a regional situation. Okay. So that's what I wanted to bring up to you. That's what we're really working on right now. And I'm really excited because this is the top priority of our LCP, and the LCP has come into play in this numerous times, because a lot of the information that we're going to be using when we build our whole lean canvas, as they call it, comes from the numbers and such come from the local human services transit coordination plan that we built. So it's all kind of coming together. It's it'll be really cool, and I really hope that we can get the word out and get people riding. And we will need your help in getting the word out about what is available. And and I don't know exactly, but we're going to have to find our first riders, our first users, and that's what do we call them? They are there's certain people that will come on board more quickly than others, and those are the folks that we need to pitch this to and get them working with us. And I believe that maybe by working with Rebecca Perotti with the Central Minnesota Jobs and Training, she might have some people that might utilize this or need to utilize this first. Maybe Natalie, you might know some folks that might want to utilize it. And I don't want to call them guinea pigs. That's not what I want. I want it to be more of um, um, positive testing of it, and what can we do then to keep improving it, improving it, improving it? So, okay. Anybody have any thoughts or questions on all of this?
I have a question, of course.
Yeah, I love it.
So regarding the what was the name of the provider from Anoka County Transit Link?
Yeah.
Do they I'm at you talk about working with them potentially Isanti County, and one of the things I heard yesterday at the Chisago County meeting, you know, this is their MAP group for their community needs improvement, health needs improvement, and of course transportation is always discussed. I heard from one of the public health staff that several years back, it's been several years, the county had started discussions with a Metro Mobility, and I don't know. We have a Metro Mobility in St. Cloud, so I'm positive it's not that Metro Mobility, about doing something similar, about coming up into crossing up into the county just to have that transit piece of it. So I don't know if this particular provider also does Chisago County. And I understand when you're doing a pilot, you want to test it kind of first and see how it goes. But I do know that that was conversations that happened just yesterday at the meeting. And I did tell people about this group. I always do. And I always say that Karen's always looking for participants. And I actually went through your list of who you invite on your email list. And the people from public health said they might not have the right people that are getting notified to come to the meeting. So I sent them your and Michelle's information, by the way. So maybe
Thank
they
you.
could get the right person or people connected to join this group. Cause I said, you know, this is a regional effort and it's gonna take, you know, some of the county leaders, right, to agree upon some of this too, in addition to the service providers. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's great because we need to know who those people are because they change and they don't let me know. I mean, of course. So yeah, I would love to have anybody come and because the participation in this is so important. Um, we have spoken with a gal named Barbara Bursack. I don't know if you know her, but she's in Washington County and she is she's got an issue because she wants to come up into Chisago County. And I think New Tracks is down in Washington County, but I think they also work with the Met Council. So I mean, there's a lot of pieces, but I know that that's something that they want to do is they want to be able to get up into that Wyoming clinic and it's right there on the highway. It's like why can't we use that possibly as a destination or transfer station, that hospital? But see, we've got to pull
And
it.
that's the conversation, bringing like Emily Carpenter in from M Health Fairview, because they have actually done that in other regions, connected with transportation providers to be able to help them get patients to the clinics. So that would definitely be with the Wyoming clinic, that would be an Emily Carpenter conversation because they've already been doing it with some other regions, partnering and working closer with the transportation providers.
Okay. I wish I could have been at the meeting yesterday, but I had this here.
That's okay. I know you can't be everywhere, but it sounds like they're going to start offering virtually next year, which I said thank you because I know they might get more participation if they do that.
Absolutely, that would be really, really nice. Yeah, I don't know how many of you have ever heard of a lean canvas, but this is something that we've been working on, and you know, I just segued, Natalie. I'm sorry. I don't know. I just do that. It's like squirrel. But anyway, Natalie, I'm really appreciative that you're at these meetings and that you have the opportunity to bring up our group here, because I think that this group is dire for transportation. The longer we're around, I think the more important we will become, because I think that we are feeling more comfortable, and we also have this networking with MnDOT and these funding opportunities that are here, and this whole moving Greater Minnesota forward is just, it's huge what they've offered. I am so glad that just a simple application got us involved in this. And if anybody on the call is interested in doing this, moving Greater Minnesota forward, or this cohort, they are looking for more people to join a cohort. They've got another one starting, I think, in maybe even December, and they're going to start them up like every 2 months. This is just, it's a lot of work, but I believe it's extremely useful. And so if you've got any transportation kind of ideas, I mean, like Kelly Anderson with Attaboys, I really think she should do it, but it's a very time consuming. Nick Whitings, who's with Blue Earth Taxi, is in ours, and we're connecting with him, even though he's not in our region. He's in Greater Minnesota. And so that connection is perfect. We also have a gal up in Duluth who's in our group, who's doing scooters, and they want to build a winterized scooter that's enclosed that people can use in Duluth to get around. And Linnell Simonson Popowski up in Northwest Minnesota at the RTCC up there is working on a project to utilize golf carts in the wintertime in the Warren area. And they would be enclosed golf carts with bigger tires. And that's her project that she's working on. And it'd be for seniors, but they would be able to drive these golf carts around town. That should be interesting, but it's kind of fun. So anyway, I don't know if Michelle Lichtig is on. Let me see here. Let's see. Bob Voss is coming on.
I am on, but I have shaky internet, so yeah.
Okay, well, let me just ask first, because on the agenda here, the next people that are up are providers and our service providers. And right now I see, as far as service providers, or I did see Helen was on. Helen, hi, there you are. You're not covering my screen. Okay, so Helen, would you have any updates that you'd like to give us, or give us any input on all the stuff that I've spewed out?
Well, I do have a few updates. We've been notified that we did receive the full amount of funding for our public transit service that we had requested, which is great. We're going ahead with the contract for 2024. There's no expansion service in it, but we did get the full amount that we projected to need to continue service as is in Kanabec County. Second thing that we got was a letter yesterday notifying us that we received some CMCOA funding. Yeah, I like that hand clap. So what we're working on, and I don't, we've got details to work out on this, and it's not a huge amount of money, but we are rolling out a program to provide some rides into the areas of the county not covered in the public transit service design, but and again, CMCOA funding, so we're talking about folks over 60, so we're not talking about opening up a lot of service, but we're gonna roll out something using county owned vans, providing transportation out in the areas where the public transit buses don't go. We're the next step now is to figure out how we're going to reach these people. We know that they're out there, but how do we reach them, and how do we get this going? And so it's just kind of exciting that we've now actually got some real money to go see if we can do something out there. So that's
Helen?
the two biggest things that we have going on.
Excellent.
Helen, yeah, that's awesome. I'm sorry, just so you know, I work with Council on Aging. I'm not part of the contracts team. You're probably working with Amanda and Laura, but you'll work with them as a Title III provider, but as a development staff person, because we're out in the communities, I can touch base with you, and we can have some brainstorming conversations of where to connect and where to reach some people. I'd be happy to do that when you're ready.
That would be great. Kathy and I have a meeting scheduled next week. By the way, Kathy's off this later today to see her first grandson
Oh,
down in Tennessee. So yeah, we've got a meeting scheduled next week. We had, you know, the bare bones of it kind of laid out and stuff. And actually this will be running through public health,
Yep.
The funding on this one. So although we're going to be doing the legwork officially, it's with public health. But it's just
Helen-
exciting that we've got something to start with now.
Helen, will this are these vans be allowed to travel all over Kanabec County, not just in the north? Could they go on the other side of Ogilvy?
Yep. We intentionally laid out the service design for this area to be all of those areas within the county that are not covered by the public transit service.
Yeah,
So yeah, we're gonna be able to get west of 47. We're already you know, pretty much to the county lines on the south end. But yeah, there's, you know, about just a little less than a third of the county on the north end in that area west of 47 that we're now going to be able to go get folks and bring them into Mora. This is a, you know, come into Mora type thing. We're not rolling this out. At least we don't anticipate this being a going outside the county service, like getting to St. Cloud or Elk River or some of the other places that we know that we hear occasionally people want to get to. This is going to be a, you know, let's get you into Mora. We'll get you to your doctor's appointments, your shopping, whatever. I don't think we have any limits on the type of service. Just the geographic limits are what I know of for certain right now.
Well, I'm kind of thinking about the idea of being able to put a transfer station in a location. I was thinking of the Dollar General. I think you and I talked about that.
Right, in Ogilvy.
Yeah, and that way then people then can pick up, if we can get TRICAP to come in to Kanabec County, if Kanabec County would allow that, then they could pick up and take out of, if people do need to go to St. Cloud, or if they do want to get over to Malacca anyway, and then maybe down to Elk River or whatever. Because right now you can't go from Malacca to St. Cloud, so that's another issue.
We got, you know, and we have the same issue that we've always come up against is you know, the length of time it takes to make these trips. I think for those long time trips, at least to begin with here, until we can get enough people knowing that it's there, you know, to get people, a couple of neighbors get together and say, hey, let's plan a trip to St. Cloud with the holidays coming up. Let's plan a trip to St. Cloud and maybe we can do something along those lines. Again, it's very, very early. We're going to flesh out this program starting next week. It's going to, the start date on it is January 1. So we've got a lot of work to do in that area and getting ready for this.
That's wonderful. Thank you. Wonderful. Good to see that. There's progress. That's wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Let's see, do we have any other providers on? I know that Rhonda was on at the beginning, but I don't see her anymore. Rhonda, are you still with us?
I know we're kind of thinking about bouncing back and forth between the MnDOT meeting and this one. So
Okay. All right. Well, let's move on then. And let's Michelle Lichtig, if you don't mind, would you mind giving us a little update?
Sure. I'll turn on my camera just for a little bit because this seems rude not to show my face a little bit here, but I have shaky internet. Yeah, Karen asked me to provide an update in the global world. I don't have an update, but I do want to touch upon something that Karen did share, and that is accessing consulting services that are working with our transit providers, and the question whether or not can an RTCC likewise perhaps access, work with a consultant to work on transit issues. And that's literally something I'm going to be having a conversation with the contracting or MnDOT contracting people later this afternoon, because we really are seeing that the RTCCs are in collaboration with the transit, and sometimes it's multiple transit, and that's a little bit different. So you're looking at transit in a multiple regional area, while many of these consultant contracts are for individual transit organizations. So it is a little bit different, and it's a little bit connected, and some of the outcomes that you're trying to seek will benefit the transit provider as well. So that's sort of a little bit of a work in the making right now. I'm just going to kind of give just an interesting update. I was invited to present at a conference last week in California, and because they're very interested in the work that we're doing in Minnesota, especially in rural Minnesota. And obviously there's a lot of complex issues in a state like California, but also a lot of rural issues. And I just want to share that with you because I'm invited, not because of me. I'm invited to these conferences because of the work of the mobility managers and how people want to learn from their experience. And I'm just the conduit to share that. So I know that I don't know whether or not this is a correct statement to make anymore, but we definitely are the land of people who are above average. And the work that each RTCC is doing individually is responsive to their community. But you even heard in this conversation, all this connection that we make with the other mobility managers. And one of the things that you also heard in today's conversation, we all got together for a significant workshop that was held by our Federal Transportation Administration technical assistance individuals. We did this in September. And much of that activity involved small groups that we were all working in. And each group was a mixture of urban and rural. And when our FTA people walked around the room, they said, gee, we couldn't tell the difference between urban and rural. There's no wall between them. The problems are the same, and the process to the solution might be a little bit different, but the process to the solution that's different might also resonate. So in today's conversation, you heard Karen talk about two of our more urban mobility management projects, that being Anoka and Washington County. And again, not only is there a network among the RTCC, the Greater Minnesota Group, but also within the TCAPs, which are our metro ones. And there's just, it is such a wealth in which we are able to move forward. And I appreciate all of you understanding that mobility management takes a while to show the fruition of all of your work and knowledge and energy. All of these conversations that have been coming forward, and now we're trying to, we're hearing from Helen, well, hey, this is happening, and Karen and others, that these connections are happening. Natalie saying, hey, these public health people, this is where they've got to be. So that dynamic growth that we're seeing, that sort of that, what we talk about, the above ground of the prairie grass is really starting to formulate. And that's because of all the rooting and hard work that you've done below the ground in trying to understand each other's needs and figuring out the resources. So that's just sort of an overall comment that I just wanted to share.
That's great. Yeah, I really appreciate the fact that we've got all these this interwoven connection with everybody. We know we can easily call up someone and chat with them, and we all share many of the same issues. But I do have to say that our region is unique in the fact that we have 3 public service transit providers here. And when I brought up to Linnell the situation that we're working on with these destination or transfer stations, she's just like, wow, we don't have that problem. And it's like, why don't you just look at that? Because we definitely do. And it just sort of boggles my mind that this hasn't arisen long time ago where, there was a spot that a person could transfer buses, since, these three buses don't necessarily connect to one another. I mean, it just, you're on an island in Caneva County, I mean, I think it's wonderful that we can do all the things we need to do there. But I know that there's people who need to go farther. They need to go down to the cities. They need to go to Duluth. They need to go to St. Cloud. I mean, I also find it really interesting that you can't even get from Malacca to St. Cloud on TriCap. And that's one service. And there's that gap there. So I don't know that we can fix that. I hope so, because we only handle Mille Lacs County. There is not an RTCC in the region where St. Cloud is. So that may be a roadblock that we have to deal with. And, we'll try. So anyway, so I'm a little bit disappointed today. I'm really very happy about all of you being here. I really appreciate you all being here, but I am a little bit disappointed that we didn't get a couple like Kelly and Nick here to talk about their taxi services. I understand with the service providers because of this other meeting going on at the same time. But I wanted to hold this meeting because this is when we hold our meetings. So I just don't want to change that. I don't want to screw around with our schedule. So
Karen,
hi, Tim.
hey, I apologize for being late, and it's germane to what I'm about to say. Do you use Outlook for your email and calendar?
I do.
The reason I was late, which okay, I know I'm from the Stone Ages here, but I have my electronic calendar and then I have my written calendar because I just haven't been able to let go of the like real live earth concrete thing yet. And so my written calendar was RTCC, but I always go by my electronic calendar and I didn't have it on there. So I'm wondering if, even though they're always on, same days, same times, the Thursdays, but maybe it would help for other folks that maybe only relying on the electronic calendar to send out that digital invite to them or electronic invite. So they actually have to, click either, they'll attend, they'll decline, or tentative attend. And at least that way it's on their digital calendar. That might help attendance.
Okay. I haven't done it because in the past, when I have sent out updates or reminders, it confuses people because they're like, well, I already have that on the calendar, and maybe that was a long time ago, and maybe Zoom has kind of helped fix that. But what I did at the beginning of when we came up with all these dates is I hoped that I had populated everybody's calendar with all of these sessions that we have at a certain time, but maybe that didn't work. And I don't know what goes on the other end. I only know what I see on mine. So I will definitely do like you asked, because I agree. I don't want people missing because it's not in their calendar. And if it's in your calendar 7 times, I'm sorry, but at least it's in the calendar. How about that?
Thank you for that. And now that makes me think maybe it's a misstep on my end. Yeah. Okay. So Natalie, you have the calendar invites on your Outlook. Well, okay. So I'm sorry. That's on me then. I must have weird.
Don't
I don't
worry,
know why I
Tim.
wouldn't have had it on there.
Okay, well, moving forward, I will definitely send them all out.
Thank you, and I apologize. That's 3 minutes of everybody's life you won't get back. So I apologize for that digression.
Fine. Yeah, thank you. Let's see. I see from Rebecca. Oh, okay. Maybe you could do a quick interview with. I also wanted to mention that if anybody is interested in being on the radio with us, as you know, we do a radio interview once a month. We are doing another radio interview next Friday. If anybody's interested, please let me know, because at this point, it's just Michelle Thomas and I giving an update, which is fine. But last month, we had Tony Buttacavoli on from Family Pathways, and that was a really, really good interview. Not trying to pat myself on the back at all. I'm just trying to say that when people do their interviews, they're really able to share what they do in their organizations and how it relates to transportation, and also how it relates to our region. So if you're at all interested, just let me know. Send me an email, because I would love to have a schedule of people set up and ready to go every month. So, yeah, so that's that. So, all right. Anybody have any questions or anything else? Natalie, do you have anything that you want to mention?
I don't think so. I think I mentioned the Chisago County thing, but and I will try to connect, because I'm maybe figuring out who the right people are at the counties. Because when I did the list, I think you have a lot of like certain level of staff, which makes sense because some of them are the decision makers, but I'm hearing they may not be the ones to come to the meetings, for example. So just trying to figure that out. But no, I think I touched base on what I had learned at least this week. And I did send your information to the gals with public health in Chisago County. So
Thank you. Okay, well, then, I'm trying to move this thing here. Hold on. Just trying to see, well, our next advisory board meeting, and I'll give you back some time today, is not till January. So, January 11th at 9 a.m. And I will send out the invite. And just it's at 9 on the 11th of January, so we won't talk till after Christmas and all the holiday stuff. And then after that, the two other last ones will be March 14th and May 9th. So they're both at 9 a.m. So we'll see where we're at. Boy, times are changing. It's pretty fun. It's yeah. Anyway, so I wish you all the best, and contact me anytime. You got my email, you got my phone number, you got my cell phone number. It's all there. Keep an eye on the website, the Facebook page. Please share stuff from the Facebook page. The radio broadcasts are on there if you ever want to listen. But then if you, like I said, if you want to be on, please let me know. So I thank you all for being here, and have a great couple months. I hope to talk to you all in between there, though. Thank you.
Thanks, Karen.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
And I can't turn this off. Oh, there we go.